How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. We are going to look at how to become a cryptocurrency millionaire today. Now, this is something that I think a significant portion of people can do, or a significant number of people can do, but it is going to be harder than it used to be, right? We had Ethereum on their ICO day open up at 30 cents. They've done a 10,000x from when they started to now, even with this cryptocurrency dip. So this is not going to be something that comes as easily as it did about 10 years ago. But this is still something that's possible, I think, for, like I said, a good number of people if you follow a couple principles that I think are going to be really important. And they're not principles like go and find the next 100x altcoin and then roll it into Bitcoin. It's going to be much more achievable. It's going to be much easier than that. It's going to be much safer than that. The principles are there to actually help save you heartbreak, save you issues if you try to get too greedy and other things like that. It's going to be really important for your mental health and very important for your accounts to follow these rules. Now, I'm going to walk you through the actual numbers, how much you would have to invest, assuming some different prices get hit. And I think it's going to be really easy to follow. So if you guys don't mind, just hitting the like button and hitting that subscribe button down below. Helps out the channel a lot. I appreciate that. Let's get into it here. So we have Bitcoin that's come down a good amount from its highs. Ethereum, same thing. Cardano, same thing. BNB, same thing. We have a lot of cryptocurrencies that are down at this point. About 50 to 60%. This is one of the best times, I think, to start thinking, how could I become a cryptocurrency millionaire if that's something that I actually want to do? What do I have to do mentally and financially to become a cryptocurrency millionaire? Well, first of all, we have to take a look at what could happen in the market. We have all these lofty price predictions from Bitcoin to Ethereum to Cardano. And most of us think that it will go up over time. So we have to take some assumptions into account here, right? We can't just say Bitcoin's going to stay at $36,000 for the next 10 years. So we have to invest $1 million. That's not very likely and it's not very helpful for many people. So one thing that I like to think about, first of all, is allocation. So that is probably one of the most important things going into this. And there's a reason for this. To hit the crypto 2 comma club, you have to keep your sanity because we are looking at a 10-year horizon in this example. And this is going to be a long haul. We're going to have to take in some assumptions, but to get through 10 years investing in the market, we're going to have to ride the highs and ride the lows. And while you can sell at the top and buy at the bottom, it's very difficult to do. There aren't people that can consistently do this. Otherwise, they would be some of the richest people in the world. So we're going to take into account an allocation that is not just Bitcoin. It's not just Ethereum. It is some altcoins, but it's going to be well diversified. So these are just coins that I like here in addition to Bitcoin. I think Ethereum is definitely one that you should put in there. And ADA or Cardano, I think is a really good option. These other ones are a little bit less important, but these are some of the projects that I like. And I plan on setting up my own investing similar to this. Now, my numbers are going to be different, how much I invest and exactly when I invest. But these are going to be pretty similar. These are the companies that I want to invest in. These are the tokens I want to invest in. So Bitcoin is going to weight down the account. Now, over the next 10 years, is Bitcoin going to outperform Ethereum or ADA or BNB? Probably not. But it's going to be really important to hold Bitcoin, in my opinion, because I think it will be, at least for now, it is this way. It's going to be the crypto that has the least amount of fluctuation. So in a bull market, it's going to go up less, but in a bear market, it's going to go down less. Now, that's pretty important for your own sanity, right? Because in this example, we're going to have, not conservative estimates for price, but we're not going to have Bitcoin at $2 million per Bitcoin. That would make it too easy, I think, to become a millionaire. So we're going to have realistic price targets. So with that in mind, you do have to diversify, I think, into some of these other cryptocurrencies. But you do need Bitcoin, I think, to weight that down because there is going to be price fluctuation. And just to keep your sanity, it's going to be important to have some Bitcoin. Because again, you're going to have to invest a decent amount to become a crypto millionaire. You're not going to be investing $5 a month to become a crypto millionaire. That's not the case unless you hit it big on some altcoins. But how many people do you know that have put in $5 a month and become crypto millionaires? Not very many people. So then we have Ethereum. It is something that I think will outperform Bitcoin. There are some risks to it, right? Some other cryptocurrencies that people think will actually overtake it, like ADA. But Ethereum is one of the best cryptos out there. As a platform, it is almost like an internet protocol as opposed to digital gold. And then from there, we will have other cryptocurrencies like ADA, high potential, but still needs to prove itself. BNB, backed by a great company. And then you have some other more, I would say they are more real world use cases than maybe some of these other cryptocurrencies at this point. But VeChain, Link, I think are great cryptos to hold. And then VGX, I think will do quite well, assuming Voyager does well. I actually have a full video on this, which I'll link on the end screen on VGX and why I like it. But you can put in your own cryptos down here. That's not as important. I can't tell you what to buy because I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a crypto analyst. But again, these crypto allocations are going to be so important, not just to hold one cryptocurrency, because this is still going to be manipulated. And again, the sanity is one of the most important things to keep intact here. For example, JP Morgan Chase expects Bitcoin to reach $130,000. Then they came out a little while later and said, this is just a few weeks later, JP Morgan is preparing to offer a Bitcoin fund to wealthy clients. Awesome. They're gonna give that to their clients. Then, a month later, Bitcoin price crash isn't over. JP Morgan. JP Morgan says big investors are not buying the Bitcoin dip. Prices could fall further. Now, some people might just be thinking maybe they changed their mind. You know, who knows? They could have changed their mind. And maybe now they aren't offering these to wealthy clients, but inflation's still here. So there's going to be more inflation than ever in many people's eyes. And we have them in the past getting fined billions of dollars because of manipulation of metal and treasury markets. So, yes, there's a possibility that maybe they're just doing this out of the good of their heart, telling the public, hey, it's not a time to invest in Bitcoin. But what do they gain out of that? Nothing, unless they are trying to artificially pump or push it down for some of their wealthier clients now that they're offering these services, right? They make a good amount of money off these clients, and if they can say, hey, we got in it to Bitcoin at 35,000 or 30,000 instead of 65,000, that's great for them. So, are they willing to pay a $1 billion fine? Possibly, and that's only if they get caught. So again, you have to be willing to ride the highs and ride the lows, which is, again, why I think a significant portion to Bitcoin is probably good, even though you will lose a little bit of potential. Because remember, you cannot become a cryptocurrency millionaire if you are taking profits when everything doubles. I mean, you can, but you're going to have to put in a lot of money, first of all. So these are going to be long haul cryptos that you're going to have to hold on to, and that you are going to ride out for a long time, right? You're going to hold on to them for 10 years in this case. And of course, I'm not taking it into account if anything changes with any of these cryptocurrencies. This is more for just examples. So first of all, you have to have diversification. Second of all, we don't want leverage. So I just pulled this up. Leverage is not going to be good with cryptos. The reason is, if we see a dip like we saw recently, and you're on 2x, 3x, 4x leverage, you're going to wipe out everything that you have earned. This is not like a dividend play where, okay, maybe it fluctuates 3 to 5% in a year, but hey, leverage will give you an extra dividends or something like that, or maybe it will let you increase overall because, you know, if they're consistently gaining, then it makes more sense to actually use leverage. But with something that's so wild like cryptocurrencies, it doesn't make sense to use leverage, in my opinion, because again, you can take advantage of massive upside if you're on 2x, but you can also be wiped out completely which would start you off from ground zero. That's not something that we're going to do in this example. So that's just stupid in my opinion, unless you are a very experienced trader or you are onto something that that the rest of us don't know, which you probably aren't. Okay, from there, let's move on. I probably went a little bit long on that. So we have to take into account some price targets, right? We have to have in mind a certain value for different prices of different cryptocurrencies. So we'll just cover this up for now. But Bitcoin, we're going to say in 5 years, the target price is going to be $265,000. Now, the reason I say this is because this would put it at about half the market cap of gold in 5 years, remember. So this is actually a little bit less too, because gold is 10.7 trillion. Everyone uses 10 trillion. It's actually 10.7 as of March 31st. Now it's actually up to 12 trillion. So I think this is a little bit conservative because again, it's about a $5 billion market cap. 265,000. Of course, we're going to have more mainstream adoption. This is still a 7.3x increase from where we are at the time of this recording. So it's still something that will be difficult to happen. Maybe not so difficult for some people in some people's minds, but it's still going to be something that, a lot of money is going to have to flow into the space. Then we have Ethereum. We can move down the line. I'm going to assume double the price increase in Ethereum, ADA, BNB, VeChain, Link, and VGX compared to Bitcoin. So instead of a 7.3x, we're going to assume a 14.6. The reason you invest in these is because they do have higher potential. Now, Ethereum at just a 14.6x would give you about a 4.4 billion or $4.4 trillion market cap. Now that is still less than Bitcoin, which a lot of people think that Ethereum is actually going to flip Bitcoin soon, but this is still saying by 2026 this has not happened. Cardano is still only at an $800 billion market cap, which is about what Bitcoin is now, give or take a couple hundred billion. BNB is slightly below that. VeChain is still only $150 billion. Chainlink would be 442, and VGX, this is actually incorrect, it will only be about an $8 billion market cap, so not very significant at all. Now, from there, we are looking at 2031 price targets. We're going to assume Bitcoin doubles. It moves up to a $10 trillion market cap, slightly less than gold. From there, Ethereum is going to double what it did in 2026. So it is going to about 28.6x from where it is now. ADA is going to go up significantly. It's going to go up the same proportionally to Ethereum. So all these are going to double from 2026 to 2031. So not a huge increase, honestly. From here, from 2026 over to 2031, we're only going to assume a double. So not as significant as some people might think is going to happen, because some people like ARK Invest, some other analysts too, think that Bitcoin is going to go to a million plus, 2 million, 5 million. I've heard crazy numbers, but we're going to say 530,000 in 10 years, which again, I wouldn't say it's conservative because some people think Bitcoin's worth nothing, but I will say that doesn't seem like like a crazy number, and it doesn't seem like a very conservative number either. I think it's maybe more on the conservative side if you actually believe in. So we're going to say you're investing $2,000 a month. Now, we could change the numbers. We could say Bitcoin's going to go up to $1 million. We could say that you're going to invest $1,000 a month, whatever you want to do. We have to take some assumptions in here. So we're going to say $2,000 a month. I realize that might be high for some people. I realize that's low for other people. We're also going to assume you get an interest rate. So this is not going to be a huge interest rate. We're only going to assume 3% a year. Now, two platforms I really like using. One is BlockFi, and they pay up to 10% on some of their stablecoin, and they pay anywhere from 4 to 7% on other cryptocurrencies, and they give a bonus. So if you guys want that, there is a link down below. I like them. They're pretty large, so there's very small amount of risk, in my opinion. Of course, there's always risk when you're investing in these cryptocurrencies and on these platforms, but they do pay an interest rate again. So if you guys want that, there is a link down below. There's also a link down there to Voyager. So that's another cryptocurrency company that I like using. They pay slightly higher interest rates, but they are a smaller company. They don't offer loans on your crypto too. So if you want higher interest, they're good. If you want to have a little bit more flexibility with your money, BlockFi is probably better. But either way, if you want to start investing in Voyager, there's a $25 bonus when you use the link down below, as long as you deposit $100 on their platform and start trading. So we're going to say $800 a month of that $2,000. So again, 40% is going to Bitcoin. At Bitcoin's current price today, 36,000, you're going to get 0.0222 Bitcoin. Then you're going to earn a little bit of interest. It's so small because it's just this times 0.03 divided by 12. That's the amount of interest you'll get. And then overall, this will be the amount of Bitcoin you have at the end of the first month. The total value will be $802. Now, the next month, we're going to assume the price increases exactly the same amount every single month, because otherwise it's going to be way too hard to fluctuate. We're going to have to run Monte Carlo simulations and stuff like that for Bitcoin, which we're not going to do. We're just going to assume month 0 is $36,000, and then month 120, so 10 years later, it's going to be at that $530,000 number, and we're just going to go up by equal increments all the way. So month 1, so you start right now, a month later, Bitcoin's at $40,000. The amount going to Bitcoin is $800. You actually buy a little bit less Bitcoin because it's more expensive. Your interest does increase though, because now you have this 802, or you have this 0.0222 Bitcoin plus the interest. So you did get a slight amount of interest, and then you also add the new Bitcoin you just bought, and then you get interest on all three of those. So your total Bitcoin end of month 2 is 0.0423, and that equals about $1,698. Then from there, you can go down the line. So we'll go about a year in, and we'll see where we're at. So this is 11 months in, and then 12 months in. So we have now invested, because of the first month that we invested, we've actually invested 13 times, $800. Now, we are the proud owner of about 0.187 Bitcoin, which is worth about $16,000. We're getting more in interest. So we are getting a significant amount more in interest every single month, but it's still not a massive amount. It's not like you're getting 100th of a Bitcoin. You're getting 0.0004 Bitcoin. Now, that's still a good amount, right? Overall, $16,000, because again, you've put in, let's see, 800 times 13, 10,400. So a good return. Bitcoin's pretty much doubled, but because you invested throughout the whole time, you didn't get a double in the amount that you actually put in, because you didn't put it all in at the beginning. You bought as the price went up. So it's done a little bit more than a double at this point. From there, we can go a couple years down the line. So we'll go up until year 5 and do a little price check. Now, don't forget, this is not the only money that we have in here, because we will have money in these other cryptos that we will have to look back at. So that's going to be interesting, because again, the majority of our money is actually going to these other cryptos. So 60 months in, we now have Bitcoin at 283,000. We're still investing $800 a month. So we're not even taking into account any kind of inflation, investing any more, any kind of price or any kind of salary increase or anything like that. We're still investing the 800. There we are getting 0.0028 Bitcoin. Now, this is not very much compared to what we were getting at first. It was 0.02 Bitcoin. Now we're getting a tenth of that. But we are getting more interest than ever. And we are getting, overall, we have about 0.458 Bitcoin. Now, again, like I said, this is a low interest rate. We could put higher interest rates in there. On Voyager, I'm getting over 6%, but we're going to assume that maybe they start paying less interest as time goes on. And then down the line, we will go to the final year now, in Bitcoin at least. So we will have that other column that is altcoins, but let's stop, or let's go to the end of Bitcoin here. So 10 years in, Bitcoin's at 530,000. You're still investing 800 a month. It's paying, or you're buying less than ever, but your interest is higher than ever. So overall, you have about 2/3 of a Bitcoin, which at the price of 530,000 gives you about $352,000 in value. So you might be thinking, okay, well, why am I not a millionaire yet? Well, don't forget, you had all these other cryptocurrencies that you were investing in, and you were investing 60% in these other cryptocurrencies. And don't forget, we're assuming they do better than Bitcoin. We're going to assume that they outperform Bitcoin, because otherwise, why would you be investing in them? They're riskier. So we are just going to buy Ethereum in this example. Again, I'm going to be buying some of the other cryptocurrencies too, but the thing is, I don't want to have to run 7 different cryptos in here and do small, minute amounts, because in this simulation, we're saying that they all increase by the same amount. Anyways, they're just starting at different prices. So they all 14.6x, because we're just going to assume that they go up the same amount, and then they're all doubling that over the next 5 years. So the price will be the same. You'll just have different cryptos. You're going to have Ethereum, you're going to have VeChain, you're going to have Cardano. And again, we're just making this simplified. So I do think they will all do different things, and you can make cases for all of them at all different price targets at different times. So again, just trying to simplify it a little bit here. Ethereum price is going to be $2,600 to start. You are investing 60% of that $2,000 a month. So that'd be $1,200. That will buy you almost half an ETH right away. Then you're going to be gaining about 3% a month in interest. But again, this is divided by 12 months. So your total ETH is 0.46267 or 269 at the end of the first month. Total value is $1,203. And then we're going to assume an equal increase from month 1 all the way up to month 120, where we hit about $76,000. So again, we're just going to go up by equal increments, but the return is going to be higher because of the fact that, first of all, we're investing more, and second of all, ETH is going to appreciate more in these examples. So every single month we add more in interest. Every single month we are buying more ETH. So even after the first month, we increased a lot, and we're buying a lot less Ethereum. So again, that's kind of gets back to why it's so important to invest early, because we're gonna lose out. Now, of course, in a normal time span, you would not see these prices increase so equally. So you might see a dip, right? It might get up to 4,400 like it did recently, and then back down to 1,800, which is another great buying in opportunity. So from there, we're going to continue to add. So this is at the end of month 12. We've now invested $1,200 13 different times, because again, we're starting at month 0. And we are the proud owner of about 3 Ethereum, which at this point is worth about $30,000. So pretty significant. It's more than the $16,000 we have in Bitcoin. But again, we want to keep this well diversified. This is only an example with just Ethereum, but we would put it into several different cryptocurrencies. And again, we're only assuming 3% interest in this example too, because we want to be conservative. Now we're going to go all the way down the line and see where we get to by month 120. So we are going to uncover all of this and see where we end up. So by the end, we're at a $76,000 Ethereum. We're still investing $1,200 a month. We're buying a lot less. So if you remember, at the beginning, we were buying almost half an Ethereum. Now we're buying about 1/100th of an Ethereum. So we're getting about 0.02 ETH in interest every single month, which is actually more than we're actually able to buy in Ethereum. Significantly more. Now, looking back over here, that didn't actually happen with Bitcoin. That never happened. But because price has increased so much in Ethereum, because it has pretty much doubled the returns of Bitcoin, we are actually earning more interest and actually able to buy less in this example. From there, we have about 8.6 Ethereum, which is awesome. That's a huge amount of Ethereum when Ethereum's at 75,000 or 76,000. So overall, we have about $656,000 worth of Ethereum. And again, we're going to have all these other cryptocurrencies too. So between these two numbers here, we have over $1 million. That's awesome. $1 million in cryptocurrency. 2 comma club in crypto. So again, the important things here, first of all, dollar cost averaging. If you invest some money right now, you're going to have to invest a good amount to be able to buy 8 Ethereum, to buy 8 Bitcoin, or, 2/3 of a Bitcoin. So you're going to have to put in a lot of money. That's one thing you could do, but I think it's important to add over time because you can throw different numbers in here. If you want to buy $10,000 worth a month, you would make a lot more money. You would have $5 million at the end of this simulation. But again, adding to it over time will help because a lot of people can't put in enough money to buy 2/3 of a Bitcoin and 8 Ethereum right away. So adding to it over time, not going on leverage to the point where you actually get liquidated and start all over. Imagine you were on leverage and it worked great. You made 5 or 10x the returns, but then 5 years down the line, 6 years, 7 years down the line, it drops 50, 60%. And because you were on leverage, you get liquidated, you lose your entire bag. Everything you had earned, maybe over $1 million, you lose it. And maybe you say, okay, well, I'll sell everything before that or I'll stop being on leverage. Well, it can happen at any time. So you won't be able to ride out the highs and lows if you're on leverage as easily. Also, allocation is going to be really important just for your own head. So when we go through bear markets or bull markets, you're not FOMOing in and you're not selling at the wrong times. So that's going to be important too. Also, there's a chance that this never happens. We might never hit $530,000 on a Bitcoin. But if you want to become a cryptocurrency millionaire, you probably think that there's going to be some price appreciation in the future. There's also going to be massive manipulation, right? People are going to say, no, that's not happening. We're going back down to 10,000 or 5,000 or whatever. But that's where dollar cost averaging is going to be important. So that way you're not worried about selling out and getting back in. One other thing is some people talk about taking profits, which I think is great for some altcoins if you're able to get in. And that's the reason I put other, because maybe you want something else. Maybe you want some smaller altcoin that's risky. I think it should be a small part of the portfolio, but maybe you want to start doing that. Maybe you see an opportunity and you're able to get 100x return, because none of these are 100x returns that we put in here, but maybe you're able to get 100x return. Hopefully you're not doing that with too much of your portfolio because you can also lose half of it right away. So that is something that you could do. Just make sure that you're doing it wisely and make sure that you know that you could lose a significant portion of that. Now, again, if you guys want interest rates on your cryptocurrencies, because this is assuming an interest rate, the interest rate will greatly change this scenario if you're not getting an interest rate, because 3% over 12 years is a significant amount of interest. If you guys want those links down below, you can check out the description. Again, BlockFi is a little bit larger, also has some more flexibility with, first of all, they're coming out with a credit card, which is going to pay you back in Bitcoin. Second of all, they allow you crypto loans. So if you got to let's say you got to year 10, and you're like, okay, I'm a millionaire. Now I have to pay gains. I have to pay taxes on this. I bought a lot of this at a much lower price. I'm going to have to sell it and take large tax hits, or maybe just capital gains or whatever. Sometimes it might be nice to just be able to take a loan from it instead of actually selling off the asset that's done so well for you, especially if you're bullish and you're thinking, okay, now it's going to go up to 1 million, 2 million. Maybe you want to just get a crypto-backed loan and keep the crypto, but then get maybe a loan for 4 or 5% interest. Maybe it's lower than that by then. Also, there is a link down there to Voyager. You can also check them out. They pay a little bit higher interest rate. I like them for the interest rate, but also they don't offer those crypto-backed loans and some of the other things. They do have a nice loyalty program, which is again why I'm so interested in VGX, which I'll link to that video here on the end screen. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.